Shalom and good day all, this is Healing29 back again for another DC review, and in this DC review I'll be covering Superman issue 7, and I do have a variant cover coming in, but I will also be covering the rating for that variant cover in this review, even though before it turns up. We have Godzilla, Justice League versus Godzilla and Kong, which I've got a variant cover with, and last but not least, World's Finest, issue 20. I'll now get things organized for the first one that I'll be reviewing right now. So first things first, do these covers in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Hopefully whilst this video is going up at the moment, I'll also have a picture of the second cover, which will be rated, or I'll make sure that it shows. So for the first cover, I give a 7.5 out of 10. For the second cover, even though it's slightly different in appearance, I do actually enjoy what the cover is showing, to which I give an 8 out of 10. I'll now get things organized to show the internal art as we have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end. So as the story begins, we have Perry White at the beginning of the story, who is going to be running for mayor of Metropolis, and he's doing it outside of the Daily Planet. Of course, we have Jimmy Olsen on the scene and a couple of others, until he also sees the Change, who we learned is the name of, his surname is actually Stryker, like in relation to Stryker's Island. As we jump a little bit further inside the story, we return to Stryker's Island, to which, of course, Batman has been chained down by the Chained, and Mercy's there going in to help him, even though she did give him a warning. The members of the Superman family come in, and I must admit, I do think somebody's missing here. John Kent. Of course, moving a little bit further in the story, we have Dr. Farmer and Mr. Kraft talking to the character of the Chained. We return to Stryker's Island, which we see Lex Luthor finally waking up from what happened to him in the penitentiary. We move into a little bit further, and we get some flashbacks here relating to this Infinite Frontier universe, and we also have Superman practically calling him a member of the family, even though he disagrees with what he does. A very interesting approach, I must admit. We move into the character of Lena Luthor, who we know has a connection to Brainiac, maybe even being Brainiac. And of course, Brainiac's new approach of taking down Superman. Until, of course, we will be moving into Superman issue 8, and to be continued into 2024. So for the internal art, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in the area of the story rating, to which, first things first, what things have been covered here? Were there any comic references put in? No, it might not hurt to include them, especially for important details that you might want the readers to know. Next is the time. When does it take place? No indication. Even in the flashback, we sort of got no indication when it took place, though it would not hurt to include it, or include that. I don't care if you were to say over a lifespan of 10 or 20 years with these characters, it would sort of make a little bit more sense. And taking into account the birth of his son and whatever else. Next, we have the area of location, which is Metropolis and also Strikers Island, which the cast of characters consisting of Perry White, Clark Kent Superman, Jimmy Olsen, Sammy Stryker, that's it, Sammy Stryker, aka The Chained, or also known as The Chained. We had Keenan Kong, we had Supergirl, Dr. Farm and Mr. Kraft, Mercy, Natasha Steele, Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, Letitia Luthor, and Lena Luthor, and last but not least, Brainiac. For the overall story writing in this, I give a 7.5 out of 10. This is actually feels like a bit of a big improvement from some of the previous issues that I've covered in relation to Joshua Williamson's previous stories. So now it's time to move into the next one. And for the next one, we'll be covering the Justice League versus Godzilla and Kong. And as you can see here, I have two covers. Now, I want to point out that this first cover is a full wraparound cover. And do these covers in any way, shape, or form connect to something that's inside of the story? In some essence, they do. But I'll show you the full wraparound. And for the full wraparound cover, I give an 8 out of 10, as it somewhat connects to some of the things that are happening inside of the story. I'll now give the rating for the second cover, to which the second cover also gets an 8 out of 10. It's now time to move into the area of the internal art, which we'll have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end. And also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So, as the story begins, we have Lois Lane and Clark Kent Superman trying to enjoy their day, and they get a bit of a visitor from Godzilla. And I must admit, it's really nice seeing this presented within the story. I really like the art that's used here, even for the character of Godzilla. So, really great job. We slowly jump towards the middle of the story, and we see characters from the Hall of Justice, such as Barry Allen, Flash. We have Superman taking down Titano. Until, of course, we get something connecting to Strikers Island. Once again, I don't know. I didn't actually put that down. Okay, that might... that's a part of my error, so I think in regards to that, I know the story rating I was going to give it, but I might increase that rating a little bit higher than what I originally wrote down. As we start to move a little bit further, we catch up with the characters of the Legion of Doom and what they're planning on doing, and something, of course, occurs and they end up on Skull Island. We have a little bit of a banter between Bruce and Clark. And in the process, we also learn that the Fortress of Solitude is invaded by basically the Legion of Doom. And they send in the heroes. Until, of course, something occurs and a number of the members end up on Skull Island, to which, yes, we have the legendary monsters, including Kong. And I'll finish off with this one, to which we see Superman going towards Godzilla. And at the moment, it doesn't look as if Godzilla is doing anything threatening. But if I were to guess... next issue, maybe Godzilla asking for some help. Hey, Damian Wayne would be in for this. Okay, so moving into the internal art rating, I give a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the story rating. And first things first, do we get anything time related? To which we do, to which we have 12 hours ago being used in the story, or pointed out in the story. The next area is the locations, to which we had the Hall of Justice, we had Metropolis, we had the Fortress of Solitude, Strikers Island, to which it actually increases the story rating. Of course, Skull Island, the cast of characters consisting of Clark Kent Superman, Bruce Wayne, of course, Lois Lane, Godzilla, Hal Jordan, Flash, Titano, Supergirl, the Legion of Doom characters, Wonder Woman, and of course King Kong. For the overall story rating in this, my original rating that I did write down for this was a 7.5. I'm going to increase that to an 8 out of 10. That's right. An 8 out of 10. And that's a pretty high first issue rating, I must admit, for myself for this particular run. Now it's time to move on to one last comic to review, and that is The World's Finest, issue 20. So, as we begin to jump into The World's Finest, issue 20 by Mark Waid, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which I give a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the internal art, which I'll have a look at the beginning, middle and in the end, as well as what's happening story-wise with the characters. And of course give the art rating. So as the story begins, we have the character of the Flash helping Bruce Wayne Batman and Clark Kent Superman out, as they are now looking for the character of David, aka Thunder, Boy Thunder, and trying to find out what happened to him. And as you can see, there's quite a number of timelines, to put it, or worlds that you can see in between here. We've got the Gotham by Gaslight Batman, we've got the Flashpoint, and a number of other timelines that are in here. So next, let's move towards the middle. As we start to move towards the middle of the story, we start to see that there's a number of characters that have sort of like made it to this world. And we're finally getting the introduction of the Kingdom Come universe in this, and what actually happened in that universe, and what's presently happening in it now. We get an event to which we finally catch up with the character of Boy Thunder, who is now being called Thunder Man by one of the villains. And last but not least, we move in towards the end. So for the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the story. So first things first, seeing that we're so far in this particular run, did we get any comic references? And sure enough, we did. We got to a reference to The World's Finest, Volume 2, trade or hardcover of the Mark Waid run. Next is the area of time, to which none was applied, though it would not hurt to include it. I think it would really work well with the Kingdom Come universe, like implying the year that it's connected to. I think that would be really well set and pointed out within the story. And maybe even a reference to the actual Kingdom Come trade paperback itself. Next is the location. We have Gotham City, Metropolis, and the Daily Planet. Of course, these places also are seen within the Kingdom Come universe as well. So we do get a bit of a crossover with that. The cast of characters consisting of Barry Allen Flash, Bruce Wayne Batman, Clark Kent Superman, and last but not least, Boy Thunder, and a list of other characters there. But for the overall story rating for this, it gets a 7 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day. And what was your favourite out of these 3 comics? Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.